We got any questions pertaining to anything besides athletics and video games? So you had a question? In soccer, I never played soccer organized, with a team or anything. It was just me and my friends kicking balls around on the streets. It's just kind of crazy. I remember when I was at Windsor, when I lived out here, every street had a basketball court, and we were never inside. I don't think I started playing video games until I was like a sophomore, junior in high school. You know what I mean? I was always outside playing basketball, football, running at the park, whatever. I was always doing something. Someone else? Well, two things I want to do. One, the main thing I want to do more than anything is I want to try to get into acting. I really enjoy. I took a lot of theater classes when I was in UCLA, and I really enjoy being up on stage. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I really enjoy just acting and stuff like that. But that's more like a dream, like what we were talking about earlier. I would love to do that, but what I'm mostly going to focus on is coaching. I want to be a coach, preferably high school, because I think that's the best time to help shape and develop student athletes. When you get to college, guys kind of have their mind made up of what they want to do, what they want to be. So I want to get into coaching, and I really think I like helping people accomplish their goals. So that's the reason why I'm here. Any other questions? Stand right here. You got a whole bunch of questions, huh? Go ahead. Huh? Am I going to be on Cribs? Nah. When I buy my house, I'll be on Cribs. I just got an apartment right now. I got to wait a couple more contracts. And wait till I get up there. And then you'll see me on Cribs one day. Maybe I'll buy a house in Windsor. Any other questions? Anybody?
People have big dreams and kind of doing like this football stuff. You have people from you can't do it.
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Maybe people you thought it would never.
You know what? There's other than my immediate family. You know what I mean? A lot of people doubted where I was going to be and doubted my convictions of what I wanted to be. There was a lot of times people told me I couldn't be this, I wasn't fast enough, wasn't big enough, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, but we just call them haters. Y'all know what it is. Everybody, we all call them haters. That's what they are. They're haters. They can't do what you can do, so they feel like they want to bring you down and take you down to their level. So, I really didn't listen to that. Like I said, from the time I could breathe and I understood I still understand what life is all about. From the time I was a little kid, I understood and knew that being a professional athlete, whether it was football or basketball, was something I wanted to be. And that was a dream at the time when I was 10 years old, and I came to my dad and said, hey, I want to play football, I want to play basketball. It was a dream. But from that dream, I set up a plan, and I executed that plan every step of the way. I made sure I went to the gym. I made sure I was as strong, as big, as fast as I could possibly be. I made sure that when it came to school, I handled that so I could play football and basketball. I made sure all these things were in order, and it just worked out for me. There's a lot of people telling me what I could and couldn't do. But if I had a nickel for every time I listened to what they got to say, I'd probably have like $20.
Yeah, all the time.
You know what I mean? If you listen to what other people say, if you let that affect you, then you'll never reach your goals. You just got to block that out and stay true to who you are and what you believe in. And when you get the opportunity, make sure you're as prepared as possible. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of things go my way, but every single time I got an opportunity, I took advantage of it. I never left the game saying, dang, I wish I'd have ran more hills last year, or I wish I'd have benched a little bit more, or I wish I'd have ran a couple more miles. I never left the game saying that. Every time I left the field, I said, I gave everything I had. And if you can honestly look at yourself every day and say, I'm giving my best effort to what it is I want to do, then you can sleep well at night, because you'll be successful.
What are your actors in movies?
Huh?
What are your actors, actresses in movies?
Oh, snap.
You said you wanted to be an actor?
Well, everybody loves Denzel. Denzel Washington is the man.
Oh, God.
Personally, I think Will Smith is one of the best actors of all time. I loved him in Wild Wild West. That was a great movie. like Terrence Howard, Morgan Freeman. I mean, actresses, why is that? It's a good question. Maybe I should have researched that a little bit more. I didn't think I was going to be getting asked acting questions today, so I apologize. Anybody else?
What did you do immediately after high school?
Huh?
What did you do immediately after high school?
Well, I graduated on May 26th or 27th. 26th, Debo's birthday. I graduated on May 26th and left my house on June 14th to go to UCLA. So as soon as high school was done, I had roughly 3 weeks to just kind of rest and relax and be a kid. So I just ran a little bit, tried to stay in shape, hung out with my friends, and June 14th came along. I enrolled in summer school at UCLA and started going right back to school. So I had a whole 3 week summer back in the day. But yeah.
We have about 2 more minutes.
Okay. We have one more. Another question? Go ahead.
You walk out on the field, everything so overwhelmed by some people watching it.
No, I've never froze up, but I have been very overwhelmed. I remember my first game, my rookie year, I ran out on the field and I had screamed so loud and so violently that I couldn't catch my breath for like 5 minutes. I just ran out on the field, I'm just so happy, you know what I mean? Just looking up in the stands, running through the tunnel with the smoke and the fireworks, and just like thinking to myself, wow, I made it, I'm here. You know what I mean? I have an opportunity to be on an NFL football field and playing NFL football. You know what I mean? No matter what happens, you know what you're going to take that away. So yeah, I remember just running out the field and screaming. Once I got done screaming, I went to the bench and I got the oxygen mask and put it on for about 5 minutes. I couldn't breathe. So, we got time for one more? We got one more question. Anybody else? I remember my dad can vouch for this. I went and, you guys know Montgomery High School in Santa Rosa? I went and saw Montgomery High School play Rancho Kentucky. And I mean, I always knew I wanted to play football, but this is when it became serious for me. And I saw Montgomery had a running back, his name was Royce Barber, and he was the best player I've ever seen. Even to this day, I just remember looking at him like, wow, I was about to be in I was like middle of 8th grade. I came home from the game, it was a Friday night game. I came home and I told my dad, I was like, Pops, I seen a running back today that I just thought was amazing. He was the best player I've ever seen. And he asked me, he's like, well, do you think, you can be better than him? And I was like, I mean, one day, not right now. And he's like, well, what do you got to do to make sure you're better than him, to make sure you can compete at that level? I was like, I got to get to work. I got to start working and training myself to get to where he is. He's like, well, if that's what you want to do, let's go do it. And I think like the very next week we started training. I mean, my schedule would be go to school, go to the gym for 3 or 4 hours, come home, do homework. And that was my schedule until I graduated high school. So from that day forward, I knew what I wanted to do, and in order to do it, I had to pay the price. Like I said, I didn't just wake up and say, hey, I'm here, give me the football and watch me be great. It doesn't work like that. I put in countless hours. While most people were sleeping, I was up running at 6 in the morning. I was running sprints, doing push-ups and sit-ups, while everybody else was, hadn't even woke up the rest of the team yet. I was already getting up. So it starts when you want it to start. When you make that decision that this is what I want to do, gear your life towards that. You know what I mean? Don't just wait for someone to hand it to you or wait for it to happen. Go out and get it.
Okay, I'm going to end us here because we've got a break for lunch. But I want to thank Elvia for bringing this opportunity for us, and I would also like to thank you for coming and talking with our group. Thanks. A couple of you asked about autographs, and we've got only a few color copies. Anthony, I'm going to give you one of the color copies because you specifically asked. So there's 6 color copies here, and the rest of them are black and white. So what I'm going to suggest is that maybe Paolo, Elvia, you guys can maybe stay behind with kids that may want autographs or a quick question with Kahlil, and the rest of them, Nance and Ms. Donnelly and I will